Here is Lumino, and please excuse the sound of my voice. I'm not feeling well, so my throat is all sore and scratchy. Anyway, Lumino is an extremely gorgeous, enormous 9-year-old thoroughbred gelding by Medaglia d'Oro, and he sticks just under 16 3 hands. So I'm saying 16 2.5 hands, but really it's just shy of 16 3 hands. And this horse is just absolutely massive. His body and bone structure is enormous. Now, Lumino has a very interesting history. It's not my norm. This kid actually sold for $2.1 million as a yearling, which has to be a record for me of horses who have sold the most that I've had in my barn. And unfortunately for his racing connections, they did not get their investment back. He only made $15,000. He had 4 starts, and his last start was September of 2021. And then they actually left him a stud. And the idea, I think, was that they were going to breed him. Because I mean, I can see the appeal. The horse is absolutely gorgeous and he's well bred. However, I'm not exactly, I don't know the nuances of what all happened in people's personal business plans, but it never actually came to turn. So he's been at my friend Jody's farm for many years now, hanging out. And finally, he was gelded. So he was just gelded a couple of weeks ago, and now he's here in search of his new career. Now, a couple of things I just want to hit on real quick here. The reason that I didn't make this video public is because, one, he's recovering from an abscess that he just popped out of his right front heel. And while he looks eons better than he did a week ago, he's still definitely a little bit sore. And actually, I would say that in general, he's recovering from foot soreness from being sort of an unhappy barefoot camper. So he's been barefoot for quite a while, years, but on this footing, on the snow and the ice and everything is stabby and sharp. I'm sure that he's okay when the footing is okay, but the footing is not okay right now. And he was very uncomfortable barefoot. So the shoes have helped immensely. The abscess is resolving, but he definitely has some lingering foot soreness that we're working through here. And then, sort of to add insult to injury, he was just gelded a couple of weeks ago, and it's healing up beautifully. It looks fantastic. But, first ride back after gelding plus foot soreness, we definitely have a little bit of soreness going on here. I actually think that in spite of all that, he actually looks quite good. Anyway, so when I agreed to take Lumino, I had a couple of concerns, 2 main concerns. The first was that I really didn't want an enormous 9-year-old who was going to be studdish because, gelding them, I think he got gelded at the beginning of this year. So technically a 9-year-old, gelding such a huge horse that's been a cult for so long. I was concerned that I was going to have a really studdish, enormous horse that could be hard to handle. That could not be farther from the truth. You would never know. If I didn't tell you, you would never know that this horse had been kept a stud. He does not have any studdish behaviors whatsoever. He turns out with my sweet little cardinal horse. They go in a little paddock together, and they are just adorable and perfect, and he has absolutely no studdish tendencies whatsoever. And I've seen him interact with other horses besides Cardinal, and there's absolutely no issue there. So that was one concern that I need not be concerned about. And then my second worry was just that, so this horse has not raced since 2021, so that's 5 years ago. And he has likely not been sat on since around that time as well. So, he has spent more of his life not as a riding horse than he has as a riding horse, as a racehorse. So, does he still want to be a riding horse? Does he remember how to do all the things? How is he going to feel about me climbing up on top of him and telling him what to do? Because he is quite enormous, and I felt like a little peanut up there. But gosh, this horse is, I guess that's what $2.1 million gets you, is a really nicely broke horse, because he was wonderful. I mean, I don't know how much more you could really ask from a horse who hasn't been ridden in 5 years. He's obviously really soft. I've got him in a soft rubber straight bar, the Fager version of the Duo, which I can't remember what they call it right now. There were some typical things like, well, the big thing with him is just that he's so quiet. It's actually hilarious. I mean, I'm sure that it was not hilarious for his racing connections, because clearly this horse is not going to run fast ever. And so he just takes so much leg and clucking and squeezing, and you'll see that I'm using the stick a little bit, and I'm not using the stick as a punishment. When you see me using the stick on his shoulder, I'm trying to draw his attention to his shoulder to help him thinking about keeping it standing up straight and not falling in on his shoulder because he's so big. I cannot muscle this horse around at all. So I need him to be accountable for, his own pieces and holding himself up. He can't lean on me. I'm not strong enough to support this horse. So when I give him a tap on the shoulder, it should draw his attention to keeping his shoulder straight or keeping it stood up and not falling in. When I give him a tap behind the leg, I'm trying to find the gas. And the gas is hard to find. You really, really, really have to press down on that pedal to find the gas. So this is just an unbelievably quiet, big 9-year-old horse. He has such a nice canter. Thought he did really cute canter transitions for both leads. It's very comfortable. I mean, he's like sitting on a rocking chair because he's just so enormous. He's tall, he's so thick, and his head matches all of that. His head is like the size of my torso. It's so big. But the canter is just absolutely lovely. I mean, it really is just sort of unbelievable that this horse has not been ridden in so many years, and then this is how he comes out. Just what a nice horse. So both of my concerns about Lumino were totally unfounded. He is not studdish whatsoever, and he very much wants to be a riding horse, and he's happy to do all the things. And if this is his first ride in years, then I can only imagine how nice he'll be in a couple of weeks or a couple of months or a year from now. Because he is a professional, and he's very happy to do his job. Okay, so following this is just some footage of him on the ground, and just like in the tack, he is all class on the ground. He's super well behaved. My only complaint about him on the ground is that I cannot get him to eat treats, which is driving me insane. Other than that, he's a model of perfection to handle and work with and be around.